You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. This is backed by science. Hi, my name is Precious, and one of my bachelor's of science is in psychology. Let's talk about this. This is a topic that deeply resonates with me and a lot of other people. This is not just about leaving behind old memories or leaving toxic individuals behind. There is neuroscience behind this truth, so let's explore this together. When you're in high stress or in a emotionally damaging environment, your brain shifts into survival mode. During this, the amygdala, which is the side of your brain that is responsible for detecting threats, goes into overdrive. This actually causes a flood of cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. And then over time, your hippocampus, which is responsible for learning and memory, begins to shrink. According to McEwen in 2007, your prefrontal cortex, which is the side of your brain that is responsible for logic, reasoning, decision making, executive function, begins to go offline. So no, you're not overreacting. You're not being emotional. Your brain is literally shaped by your environment. The good news is that just as your environment can wire your brain for survival and hypervigilance, it also has the power to support growth and restoration when it changes. This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change, to adapt, to form new neural connections through experience, behaviors, and thoughts. But the key thing is that it thrives on novelty. So the key thing is you can't expect your brain to create new healing pathways in the same environment that fostered it to rely on survival and cause it to be hypervigilant. It's like trying to plant flowers in poisoned soil. You might see a little growth, but if you stay rooted in that toxic environment, your nervous system begins to absorb those stress signals. As Kolk in 2014 explained, repeated exposure to familiar trauma cues can keep the body in a state of heightened vigilance, which makes true recovery nearly impossible. So healing is not just emotional, it's neurological. And safety is not just a feeling, it's a biological state. So the nervous system has two main modes. So we have the sympathetic, which is your fight and flight mode, and then we have the parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest mode. So to truly heal, you need to spend more time in the parasympathetic state, which is your resting and digesting state. According to Porges in 2011, this means being in environments that feel calm, that feel safe, that feel predictable and emotionally warm. Even subtle cues like change in voice, a change in body language can help your body either feel safe or put it back in a defense mode. This is why some places make you feel anxious even when nothing bad is happening. Your brain and your body remembers. And speaking of memory, your environment holds emotional cues. Maybe it's the smell of the house, the way the light hits in a certain room, the sound of footsteps. Those cues can reactivate old emotional patterns. That is not weakness. That's just how the brain works. Your brain associates spaces with feelings and memories. This is why distance is not avoidance. It's a necessary intervention. Although the Kolk in 2014 does not explicitly frame the distance this way, his work does emphasize how trauma is stored in the body and how persistent exposure to traumatic cues can keep individuals stuck in that survival survival mode. So creating space can give the body the conditions it needs to heal and regulate. Cognitive psychology also reinforces this truth. Anderson in 2020 actually explains how our cognitive systems, which includes our attention and memory, are highly influenced by context and environmental cues. What we perceive, recall, and focus on is often guided by our surroundings. This activates our pre-existing schemas and creates interpretations of these events. This means that environments that are associated with emotional pain can bias our cognitive processing, which therefore reinforces maladaptive thought patterns. So healing therefore benefits from a shift in context, one that supports new cognitive associations, greater attention flexibility, and also space for reinterpretation. The truth is, healing requires space. Integration, which is the process of making room for your experiences, needs room to breathe. You can't integrate trauma while you're still being triggered every single day. You can't reflect in a space that does not feel emotionally safe. And you definitely can't rebuild your sense of self in an environment that's constantly tearing you down. So no, you're not weak for walking away. You're not dramatic for choosing peace. You're doing exactly what your brain needs to repair, reclaim, and repower what you've always been meant to be. Healing is biological, it's spiritual, it's intentional, and it's also your birthright. Let me know if you liked this video, and let me know your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, and if there's anything you'd like me to further expand on. I will be linking the references I used to create this video in the caption below. That is all for now. Bye.